I was born on December the 4th, 1930, in the first farm north of the Adams Township School in Carroll County, Indiana. We were poor people. In 1935, my father died. I was 4.5 years old. And his dying wish was that my mother should keep the farm for the boys. And she did that. God bless my mother. She was a saint. And I can say, like Abraham Lincoln said, that everything I ever am or ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. Mom always encouraged me to do well and to study, and my life completely changed in August of 1946 when we moved to town, because we had been isolated and now we lived right across the street from the school. I guess during high school, especially after we moved to town, a psychologist would say I overcompensated, because when you don't have any athletic ability and can't or be able to play in the band and don't have much going for you, then you look for something. And this to me was academics, and particularly in history and science and agriculture. When I came to Purdue, I knew how to study, and I was really motivated to do well. During my sophomore semester, Kurt Middleton invited me to come to Farmhouse. Purdue changed my life vocationally. It opened doors for me, it broadened my horizons, but Farmhouse made me a social being. And I really appreciated and loved that experience that I had there. So I lived there 2 years. And I could not have been a successful ag teacher had it not been for Farmhouse, because an ag teacher is a person who is constantly dealing with other human beings, and it's important for you to be able to relate to them and talk with them, and Farmhouse helped me do that. My most valuable experience at Purdue was the class work, besides Farmhouse, because I had great teachers. In some of those classes, I almost sat on the edge of my seat. Now, you know, that's kind of crazy for kids nowadays to think that college would do that for me, but it was just a marvelous experience. But the person who probably influenced me the most into going and teaching was the man who was responsible for me to come to Purdue University, and that was H.J. Eastman. He was my ag teacher in my first 2 years in high school. And of course, the most influential person in my entire life, of course, would be my mother. The things that she taught me, having only a 4th or 5th or 6th grade education, wasn't how to spell right and wasn't how to speak right, but the value of honest work, of making short-run sacrifices for long-run gains, of being honest and fair in our dealings with people. That was my mother, and she was the most influential person in my life. I remember the first unit I taught in my life. It was marketing livestock. Professor Harry Leonard from the Purdue was there visiting. He just so happened that he came in that day. But that would have been a subject that I'd been interested in since I was in the 4th or 5th grade. So I really enjoyed it, and that was the first time I was really ever in charge of a class. I just fell in love with teaching. I loved to teach. I got a job in Whitley County, and Professor Leonard came to visit me, and one of the things he said you need to do, Bill, is to get an advisory to your program to the community and help you understand this community. I asked people who would be a person to stand on this committee, and everybody kept saying Carl Inns. Well, I went to see Carl Inns in an August evening. They were having watermelon on their back porch. And he said, "Oh, come in and meet our daughter. She's going to be a senior at IU." And that was the start. This is Marilyn. In the spring of 1955, we got married. We've been sweethearts for a long, long time. And she was a wonderful mother. She is a wonderful mother. And I tell everybody that she did a good job raising our kids, and she did. I've kind of kept track of the kids, pardon me, of the students in the upper echelons. You could tell by visiting with them that they respected what we did with them. And in 1986, I was selected as one of 4 outstanding ag teachers in the whole country. Marilyn and I got an opportunity to go to Dallas, Fort Worth to receive that national award. If I was in a position to make recommendations about today's education, the first thing I would say is put less emphasis on standardized tests. We need a better follow-up system. What should determine the success of any educational institution? It should be what has happened to their students. They're completed their education. Are they employed? Are they happy in their employment? Are they making enough money to meet their needs? Well, and I think we need, I guess this is heresy among some teachers' organization, but I really believe we need to start rewarding good teaching. My friend Wayne Rothgibb, he had a way of closing his program, and it's a dated thing. You wouldn't understand it. And so he would always close his program by saying, that puts a cap sheath on this program from down on the farm where life is real.